All right, this is Eek. This is Eek from City Data. First off, I was going to talk about something else, but then I read Machiavelli's post, right? And he was speaking about a previous thread that had been made. I think it's since been closed, but it was about the North versus the South as far as accent, right? Now, I just wanted to say that despite what people on City Data, may have said, posted, whatever, people don't really care for the Southern accent in our country, and certainly not in the world. In the world, first off, everybody's trying to emulate. If they're going to emulate anybody in the U.S., they're going to emulate in New York, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because we have the fashion industry, we have we have Wall Street and all of that. So and then we have the skyline, we have the Statue of Liberty, we have, I mean, what we have hip hop. You know what I mean? Like we got everything, and it's like we're pioneers. And if it didn't start in New York, which it probably did, but if it didn't, we made it famous basically. So to be honest, I mean, I hate to say that, but it's true. Like everybody else has an inferiority complex when it comes to New York, and it's understandable because we are we live in the best city in the world. So it's like we come off as like arrogant or whatever because there's nothing else out there. Like anything else in the U.S. is settling. If you ask me, that's another subject or whatever though. But so with that said, as far as our city being the best, our accents are the most emulated, and our swagger, our whole essence, our whole style is the most emulated in the world. So it's only natural that people are gonna feel an inferior or are gonna have an inferiority complex, excuse me, on our accent. Like we when we get someplace, everybody wants to emulate us. Everybody wants to be us. Everybody knows where we are, who we are, where we're from as soon as we open up our mouths. So I mean, again, that goes for you too, because I mean, you come over here and you start, yo, dog, and hey, man, you know what I mean? Like, if you start speaking like that, people are going to be like, what? Like, we'll know where you're from or whatever, but we won't emulate you. You know what I'm saying? Some people might make fun of you or something like that, which that shouldn't go on. But when we go over to where you're from, people want to be us. They want to start speaking like us. They want to talk about, oh, well, say this word, say that word. Like, I mean, we don't want to. Truthfully, I don't really want to be. I don't want to say, I'm gonna go walk the dog in the fall time or something like that. Like that shit is stupid to me. I wouldn't ask you to say the same stuff. I mean, pardon my French. I didn't mean to curse or whatever. But anyway, so that's what I wanted to say about that. I didn't mean to spend that much time on the accent part. But another thing I wanted to talk about was in this thread that I'm posting in right now, people talking about. First off, this lady from Manhattan, I guess it's a lady, I don't know. But this lady from Manhattan is talking about people from Queens got a tame accent and all of that. First off, lady, miss, you from Manhattan. Like, if anybody in the whole state or the whole city got a tame accent, it would be a person from Manhattan. I'm going to tell you why. Because people from Manhattan tend to be from someplace else. People in the so-called outer boroughs are the real New Yorkers to me because we're the ones who were born and raised in New York. You know what I mean? Like people in Manhattan, they're yuppies. Not all of them, but a whole lot coming from like Iowa and stuff. Like you know what I mean? Like people from Iowa and Montana and freaking what else? Fresno, California and stuff. Like you know what I mean? They tend to be the ones coming to Manhattan trying to make trying to make something out of their lives or whatever, which is good. But I'm just saying like that stuff has diluted the accent. Plus you got 100 billion Chinese and 100 billion this that and the third thing running around over time over the past couple of decades and all that. You got this person, coming in, this person coming in, this person leaving. You have gentrification and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Whereas that stuff hasn't hit the outer boroughs yet, or it hasn't hit as hard, to the outer boroughs. So that's what I mean. So basically, a person from Manhattan can't really tell me nothing. I mean, to be honest. But and then you told me about you went over to California and changed your accent. So I mean, what are you saying? Anyway, to the other people that are talking about, they could tell a person from Brooklyn from a person from, this borough and that borough. I mean, stop it, stop it. Like, truthfully, just stop it. Like, other than slang, and even our slang is pretty universal or whatever. But other than slang, and maybe the ethnic makeup of the borough, like it's not going to change our accent any. We live in the same city. Like people in Brooklyn and people in Queens, we live on the same island. So how can we have a different accent? That does not even make sense. It's not even like I said before, it's not even like the 1920s where a person, they never left their borough. Like even not even the 20s, you don't even have to go that far back. My mother the other day, I was talking to her on the phone and she was talking about back in the day how hard times were and how, they didn't have a lot of money and things of that sort. So they never left their borough, right? And I'm not gonna say which borough that, we're from or anything like that because I want you to tell me what borough I'm from based on my accent. You know what I mean? Since everybody's talking about, oh, you could tell which borough a person's from based on their, based on their accent. I want you to tell me which borough I'm from. But anyway, okay, so, and I know I did post that, but whatever. Pretend like you didn't see that and try to figure out where I'm from. So anyway, she told me that back in the day they really didn't leave their borough like that because they couldn't afford um, the admission, the tokens or whatever. I guess they was using tokens back in the day. I mean, I know we used to use tokens, but I don't know what they was using way back when. But anyway, not that she's old, because I love my mom. She's not old. Anyway, but what I'm saying though is that back in the day, I could totally understand the person if they was talking about so and so has a different accent by borough because they were more isolated. In 2009, 2010, man, we take the train everywhere. Like, come on, son. Like, I mean I could be in this, I could be in Manhattan in this amount of minutes, I could be in the Bronx this amount of minutes, I could be in Brooklyn this amount of minutes, I could be in Queens this amount of minutes. Like it doesn't make sense to me. You take a train, some people in Queens could take a train and be in Manhattan in 10 minutes. How can you tell me that we have different accents other than the fact that a whole lot of people in Manhattan aren't from Manhattan, but like the natives, like you talking about people from like Harlem or Washington Heights or Inwood or something like that, I could understand that a little bit better. Or I could not because actually those people are gonna have more of a New York accent than somebody from some of these other wealthy places or whatever. But yeah, like I'm not understanding. I'm not seeing that. A person in Long Island could take the Long Island Railroad and be in Manhattan faster than a person and some people in Queens. So that doesn't. I mean, so how are we supposed to have different accents? That doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. Like again, I feel like Brooklyn people, what I mean, the famous ones, not the people you meet on the street, but the famous ones. I feel like they they got the whole nation. They talk about, oh well, my Brooklyn accent did this and that and the third, and like no man, like you from Brooklyn, yeah, but your accent is not any different than or any more different than a person from Queens or a person. Really, let's just start with Queens for a minute. Brooklyn and Queens are on the same island. Both Brooklyn and Queens are on Long Island. So it does not make sense for a person from Brooklyn to claim that they have a different accent from a person from Queens. What it is that you have different ethnic makeups in Queens than you do in say Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, right? So as far as the way a person communicates, they might communicate a little different. Like me, I'm a black male, right? So not to stereotype, but a lot of black people sound maybe sound a little different than some white people, right? You might have a white person, a white Jewish person, right? You might have a Jewish person that sounds a little different than a person that's black that lives in the same borough, right? But just because they're different ethnicities and all of that doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna sound different. But I could see that, but I don't see how a person from the borough of Brooklyn and a person from the borough of Queens or the borough of the Bronx or whatever would sound different. I just don't. That's just my personal opinion. And anybody that wants to dispute it, anybody that says, oh, okay, well, Eek is wrong and all of that, post a YouTube video of yourself speaking or post some audio or something like that so we could get some tangible evidence instead of you running your mouth or running your fingers talking about how I'm wrong. You know what I mean? And I didn't appreciate Cut the Crap Man from Manhattan, Cali Lover or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, again, you from Manhattan, I'm from another borough. I'm not going to say, but I'm from another borough. I'm not from Manhattan. So, and to me, you guys, especially you, being that you went to Cali and changed your accent, you are going to sound different than me. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's just my personal opinion. And John from ATL, man, you over there going ham, as they say in ATL and all that, man. Just stay in your lane, man.